Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, today we're going to talk about Pearl. Um, this film, I watched this for the first time last night, and earlier today, I'm like, I gotta watch Pearl with my dad and my sister and my family because I feel like it's one of those films that needs to be seen by people who, and my family is into horror as well, but I guess not as deeply as I am. And so I'm like, they have to see this film. And it's mainly for my dad to see because I feel like he really enjoys period based films. Uh, and so I'm, I was hopeful because he's kind of can be a little bit harsh when it comes to films, if that makes sense. And so we watched this and he liked it. He said it was different, but he liked it. I could tell. Um, and actually, let me just go back real quick because I did put one in. So originally I had it at 4 stars, and I bumped it to 4.5. And I'll get into some spoilers here right now. So if you haven't seen Pearl, go watch it. I believe it's on Netflix, but is going to be leaving Netflix soon here. So try and get to it. Um, but the reason I gave it that extra half star is because on my second viewing, I noticed some subtle foreshadowing of camera of like certain shots. So the one that I noticed, and I'm like, oh wow, is I believe it's the first shot that we see her mom and her dad all sitting at the dining room table together. And when you see that shot, it's the same shot that you see at the end when her parents are now deceased and dead sitting at the table. And it just, I wouldn't say it gave me chills, but I'm like, oh wow, it's one of those subtle things that clearly, was put there for a reason. And I thought it was just great. Ty West and Mia Goth killed it on the script for this film. Um, I would say that the best part from a acting standpoint was Mia Goth's monologue at the table. I believe it was, I believe it's around like from what I've seen, it's around 7 minutes. Where there's or that the long shot where it's just her and she's just talking. I believe that is 7 minutes long, but the full table sitting down is like nine or 10 minutes long. And last night when I was watching it, and I also like when I watch these films, I always typically have a earbud in, and I'm usually listening to like a full length commentary of another YouTuber that I like watching. And so, um, as I'm watching this monologue, it was about, I'd say about 4 to 5 minutes in, to like midway through this monologue. I thought to myself, I'm like, holy crap, like this is one hell of a monologue. And the commentary track that I had in my ear, they mentioned it right around the same time. They're like, wow, this is a long monologue. And it's not long in a bad way. I would say for the casual viewer, they might get bored with it being around a 7 to 10 minute monologue. But for me, like I said, I enjoyed it from start to finish because I'm able to appreciate Mia Goth having to memorize these pages and pages of dialogue that she and Ty wrote. And so I'm like, wow. Um, and then the other thing about this film that I like is the color palette. I love that they went with the Technicolor look. I was watching behind the scenes of this film, and Mia had mentioned that they were thinking of doing it in black and white. And then I believe they went to their director of photography, and he just threw out the idea, what if we do it like kind of like Technicolor, or like a very bright colors. And Mia said she couldn't see Pearl any other way than that type of color palette. And I also like that there's some homages to The Wizard of Oz, which last night when I was watching, I didn't notice. But uh, my family had mentioned that, like, they're like, this movie feels a lot like Wizard of Oz. And it was just based off of the color palette itself. So, I mean, that kind of just shows, too, how much time they took into thinking about, like color palettes and stuff like that. And Ty West also mentioned, because this is the same set as X, or I should say like the farm area in Pearl. It's the same set from X, and he said that because I believe it's in New Zealand. He said that they went away after X for about a month so they could let production come in and basically paint the barn with fresh coats of paint and the house, and just get everything how it would look back in 1918 with it being a lot earlier, so everything's a lot more fresh. And Ty West was kind of worried because um, this farm that they're filming on is like people's farm that they actually live on in New Zealand. And so he was worried that, after filming Pearl, oh, we're gonna have to, put everything back the way it was. And he said that the owners over time really enjoyed seeing it look like that, and they've kept it the same way, which I think is so cool that there's people out there that live on the Pearl farm as their own farm. That's why I thought that was really cool. But yeah, the writing is great. The effects are good. The acting is very well done, specifically by Pearl and her mother. I'd say that's the two like best acting in the film, but everyone else was great. The projectionist did a great job, and even the animals in the film. I know from what I've heard, working with animals is kind of a pain for some directors, and so I thought that was nice touch. Oh yeah, 4.5 stars. Like I said, um, 5 stars is maybe in Pearl's future for me, but I think it might have to be after, like, I'd have to rewatch. I would say Pearl would get 5 stars if I watched X, Pearl, and then Maxine all in like one day. Just watch the whole trilogy. I feel like Pearl would stack up. I haven't seen Maxine, so I need to watch that. I think, honestly, I might watch it after I get this video edited and uploaded. So we'll see. But yeah, go out, watch Pearl. I would say to anybody, even if they haven't seen X, because I feel like Pearl can just be a standalone movie. Like, people could watch this and have no idea that it's a sequel to X. But yeah, give it a watch.